Hello vlog people, today we're going to talk about the movies. Now I actually went and saw The Hateful Eight. It was actually a week ago I went and saw The Hateful Eight, and just between New Year's and comic books and making Spider-Man versus Kylo Ren, which is out now on the main channel, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. I took my Aunt Annette, my mother's sister Annette, and we went to see The Hateful Eight in the VIP screening room at the theater, and just the gorgeous widescreen presentation. And immediately you get thinking and talking, if you're a Tarantino fan, about what you thought of The Hateful Eight and where it fits in the pantheon of Tarantino movies. Because one thing that I was saying about Tarantino coming out of Django, I loved Django Unchained, and I came out of Django Unchained just being like, this dude is like the only guy who has knocked it out of the park every single time. From his debut in 1992 with Reservoir Dogs, every single movie he's put out has been hot. And so The Hateful Eight is, I mean, surprise, surprise, it's fantastic. I think it's, he likes to do things on what a high school drama teacher, no, a high school media teacher said to me. She described Tarantino as Shakespearean grandeur. So this is the most Shakespearean of his yet. Right down to the fact that he's doing that giant widescreen 70mm CinemaScope presentation, but the setting is not like, you watch an old movie like Once Upon a Time in the West. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but a good friend of mine once put it on when he knew I was coming over, and he put that movie on, and the gorgeous widescreen stuff. It's like old, like 3-hour long Clint Eastwood, old school Sergio Leone Western. And so The Hateful Eight very much like kind of feels like that, and it has that feel, captures it authentically, but the scale is so much smaller because he's telling a story that takes place all in one room like that. So that's what I'm going to say about The Hateful Eight for now. It's a Quentin Tarantino movie through and through. As far as like the violence is not really so different from what you expect to see in a Tarantino movie until a certain sequence when it goes to a whole new level. So there's just your non-spoiler warning about that. If you don't like be prepared to have a little bit of gross stuff. Let's see here. So what I've done here is I've come up with my ranking of all of the Tarantino movies and how they all fit in order of my personal preference. This is purely subjective. I consider myself some kind of movie expert. Now, just to give you a bit of background, I got to see Pulp Fiction first when I was probably too young to see it, and you know how the video stores would rent you the movie even though they're not supposed to, right? So that's how I got Pulp Fiction. And it just like so many other people that saw it, especially when they were younger, it just goes whoa. And I've had a hard time in the last 22 years trying to explain to people. Well, 22 years is when it came out. When did I see it? A bit later than that. Anyways, trying to explain like what it is that is so special and unique about that movie. It's the writing, the characters, the dialogue, the look of it, the feel of it, and also just the mood of the times it came out in. We'll talk more about Pulp Fiction, believe me, but that's how I got into not just Tarantino, but being a movie nerd, to the point where I used to go to the theater minimum once a week. I would skip school to go to the movies. In fact, one of my most vivid memories of my final year of high school was I had my year arranged like there's 8 periods, right? And the school I was in had semesters. So there's 8 periods, and so I was taking 6 classes that year. And so I had 2 spares. And instead of giving me 1 in each semester, they gave me a packed schedule for the first semester. And the second semester I had double spares in the morning, followed by the lunch break, and I didn't have to be at school until 1:30 every single day. I cannot tell you how many times I had to explain to my mom, no mom, I'm not skipping school. I don't start school till late. Lucky me, that's how it worked out. But you should just never would remember that I don't have school in the morning. Anyways, as it got later in the school year and the weather got nice, my favorite thing in the whole wide world, right? As a teenager, I never got into like smoking or drinking or hard partying or nothing like that. Like I guess closest thing to a vice in those days was blowing off all other responsibilities if there's an opportunity to catch a movie. So I was that guy who like was a total movie nerd and a bit of a movie snob and couldn't stand for any conversation to be going on around me where people are talking about a movie and I haven't seen it. Like I just could not stand for that. So I kind of I'm a self-taught scholar, right? And I've read a lot, and I got a great biography of Quentin Tarantino for my birthday one year from that same Antoinette. So there you go. And so with me being that kind of movie fan, I'm going to give you here, quick and dirty, my ranked listing of all of Tarantino's films. I have Reservoir Dogs coming in at the bottom at number 8. Now, that doesn't mean that it's the worst, because all of these are great. And the thing is that for all of the talk about where Reservoir Dogs fit, I think a lot of people, where they rank it has a lot to do with their affection for it and a certain nostalgia for the time that it came out in or the time in their life when they saw it. I think in terms of it just being a good movie, it's a great movie, but it's a great movie by a guy who immediately went on to do make a world-changing opus with his very next movie, and then just continue to differentiate and delve deeper. Like, make no mistake, it heralded the arrival of a master filmmaker, but like the promise had to be fulfilled, which he's done in spades. I have Death Proof coming in above Reservoir Dogs at number 7, and the reason for that is because I think Death Proof is more accomplished a film, more polished, and more on the nose in terms of what he was going for. My sense of his artistic vision for it and the execution of it are like so just right there that it's accomplished and polished in a way that is easy to miss when you're looking at it as just strictly as like the Grindhouse thing. I have Jackie Brown coming next. Jackie Brown, oh my God. I was the kind of fan who was encouraging Tarantino, like after Pulp Fiction, like I had this fear that he would be like a Harper Lee figure who she goes, how do you follow up To Kill a Mockingbird and doesn't write another book? Like what, last year I think she had a new book come out. And that's a 40-something year gap. And so from everything that I've read, that was what was going on with Tarantino is that he was trying to just keep himself busy doing everything but like getting down to the work of making his next film. So he chose to make Jackie Brown, and I think that that's an important moment for him, not just as a movie maker, but as a person, as a man, and as an artist, because now he's done Pulp Fiction. It was the pop culture thing that it was, and now there's a perception of him in the culture. How do you live up to that, but also strike out in a new direction? How much of a new direction do you even want to strike out in? Like, I think he understood that the delicate thing going on when it was time to make his next movie is that he knew that it was going to like crystallize something and like it set a mold for him and affirm certain expectations, and could never live up on another level. So that's a hard juggle in acting. Jackie Brown is a great movie, deep character study, and when I saw it the first time, I hadn't ever smoked weed yet, so all of the pot stuff kind of went over my head. I mean, I got it on the sense of like the story made sense, and it made sense in the story. So there you go on the writer. But once I actually like got into the pop culture, and then I really kind of appreciated a whole new level of it. Also seen it again later on after Samuel L. Jackson and Chris Tucker, especially Chris Tucker, went on to become what they became in the movies. And so you go watch Avengers and then go watch Jackie Brown again now, or go look up the Rush Hour movies, or better yet, watch Chris Tucker's new Netflix special and then go back and look at Jackie Brown. Fantastic stuff. Coming in next at number 5, I have The Hateful Eight, the new one. I've spoken about that already. I think it's accomplished. I think what it comes down to from this point on is a lot of it is to do with entertainment value. And The Hateful Eight is a great movie, but it's quite slow, and it's very the pacing, I'll call it deliberate, and I wonder how much people who are not going into it going, oh, the new Tarantino movie, I wonder how much they're gonna like. People who don't do that, I wonder how much they're gonna like it. Be curious to find out. So I have coming in at number 4, Inglourious Bastards. This is the one that kind of made me start recording this video in the first place, because Screen Junkies did their, tournament bracket style thing of like putting them up head to head and coming down to the final, and they actually had this one knock out Pulp Fiction in the semifinals, go up against Django Unchained in the finale, and they had it that Inglourious Bastards comes out on top in the tournament style bracket as the best Pulp Fiction, the best Quentin Tarantino movie. I have it way down at number 4, again because I think it's absolutely brilliant and it does a lot of great things, but I think that how far it reaches in its cartoonishness is I kind of want to say like not quite in line with the other stuff, or maybe it's just a personal preference thing. Maybe I just cold like the rest of these better. Like Kill Bill, I have Kill Bill coming in at number 3, and I do it so that Volume 1, Volume 2 just are considered together. I didn't think I liked Kill Bill as much as I actually did when I saw it in the theater the first time. It was only rewatching it again that I really like understood the depth of it, and just the degree to which it's a love letter just to Quentin Tarantino. It's almost like he's at a point in his life where he's bought everything he could ever want to buy, and he's got all the money he's ever going to need, and he's just like reached gratitude. Like I just get from him like it's his love letter to like everything he's ever loved, from like his dear friend Uma Thurman to the movies he loved that made him want to be a movie maker, to the culture he grew up in, to the places in the world that he's visited. Like just the whole thing just feels like it's like a love letter dripping with sincerity and sweetness. Odd thing to say maybe about a movie where people are getting their heads cut off, and there's the levels of violence in it that there is. But yeah, there's a sweetness to Kill Bill and an affection to Kill Bill that I really enjoy. And it feels, well, out of all Tarantino's movies, I think it's the one that feels the most comic booky, which is also, again, maybe why I like it. So that's my number 3 pick. And coming in for number 2, I have Django Unchained. Django Unchained was one of the most entertaining movies the year it came out. And the Tarantino movies typically come out late in the year, like Christmas time, basically from Jackie Brown on. December has been when Quentin Tarantino puts his movies out. Django Unchained, wildly entertaining, great story, blinding performance by Leonardo DiCaprio as Candy. Don Johnson's role, he's great to see him. He's fantastic. Everybody's fantastic in it. It's one of those things where it feels like it needed a level of serendipity and luck to fall into place for it to just become more than the sum of the parts in that special way that it sings. And again, it's very comic booky and over the top, which is why I like it. And I like happy endings. And Django Unchained, for all that's gone on, relatively speaking, like it gives his protagonist and his hero and his heroine a happy ending. And isn't Kerry Washington, when she's smiling at him at the end, just the cutest? Which means that the number 1 Quentin Tarantino movie for me is Pulp Fiction. I don't think that this is even up for debate, because Pulp Fiction is just like, it transcends, it's a work of art. That goes beyond just being like a good movie. It rewrote it and Fight Club, I think, were sort of like bookended a period of like where a certain experimental indie rough and tumble guerrilla filmmaking attitude sort of penetrated the mass market main culture. And I think Pulp Fiction opened it up. Is the card full? Oh shit, I better wrap this up because it looks like some of the card's full. What am I saying here? Yeah. So I think 1994 Pulp Fiction opened it up, and then it kind of, this experimental mindfuck thing was like kind of permeating the culture, the mass entertainment. And then 99 Fight Club is when they kind of like got a cap put on that, and the corporations took it all back over and sanitized everything again. So there's my list of the Pulp Fiction movies. Like it's his name, right? No, the Quentin Tarantino movies. Thanks for watching. I love you. Watch again tomorrow. Question of the day, put in the comments. I'm going to do a new thing. Question of the day, put it in the comments. I'll answer the question in the next one. Or pick a question in the next one. Or pick an answer, rather. I'm scatterbrained. I'm sorry. Okay. Happy vlog, everybody. And do this all your live long day.